How you doing, sir?
Oh, just fine.
Yeah, we want to talk about the law of assumption when manifesting the life you desire.
Depends on the assumption, doesn't it? People don't want to accept the responsibility for what they say, so they pay attention to everybody else and not themselves. You think?
I do. So it goes back to we ourselves are makers of ourselves, correct?
That's it. You know, you keep repeating that, and it's going to make a spot in their mind, see? And it'll be there as a mindset as long as they keep feeding it, and then it'll become permanent. Same thing on the television with call your doctor. You hear that 20 times in an hour. So they don't realize that they're allowing themselves to be manipulated without their permission, even though you're watching the program, you're getting bombarded with the ideas they want to impress you with, so that, you know, as you're impressed, you express. And actually, it happens automatically. I was a contractor, and I worked in people's houses, and so I, was in their different rooms, and I see exactly what they listen to on the TV. You just open up under the sink or something, and you see they got half the things in there that's advertised on the TV. I mean, we're really walking advertisements for them just by hearing them. It's really wild trip, isn't it?
It is. So as we speak of walking advertisement, the truth of the matter is, even if it's not by way of our clothes, it's by way of our predominant beliefs in politics, religion, whatever, we're somebody's avertisement. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Look, you're giving off vibes all the time. My wife always asks me, what are you smiling about? I said, oh, if I told you, you'd be shocked. Yeah, actually, she's coming in and she'll say, well, what are you watching there? I go, nothing. I was listening to a tape. I had an earplug in. He goes, oh, I heard you laughing. And I said, well, yeah, that's what I do in here. It's really weird. You're trying to get yourself straight, and you're trying to make at least communication with those around you, but it's like really wasted time. I hate to see people wasting their time.
But the truth of the matter is, most of those who are close to us, spouses, family members, and so forth, they don't understand these principles because, of course, they haven't taken the time. And that's not a good thing or bad thing. It's just what it is. And so trying to communicate these truths to them really is like speaking a foreign language to them. Would you agree?
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? It really is. It is another language.
It is.
Because they've not experienced it, not even knowledgeable of its existence. But I'll tell you, that brings up a point. The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. That was really something that added much to my understanding that I couldn't figure out from Scripture. Even though I know that I was shown it, but I didn't remember it. But I thought, well, okay, I'll look it up here, and I looked it up there, and there it was. It was right there, the answer to the message, and that I had already known it, but I had forgotten it. And that's what happens. Man is so forgetful. And because he's so forgetful, he doesn't remember what he's agreed with. When he heard it, he agreed with it, but then he forgot it. So, you know about that.
I do, and I appreciate the the braining up of the metaphysical dictionary. That and Strong's Concordance have been a godsend for me when I'm studying and when I'm going over this material and I'm trying to delve deeper, because, of course, what both of those texts give me is the deeper understanding. And, of course, then what it does, it goes back to what you just said a moment ago. I find agreement with what it is that I'm reading, so I know that I'm on track. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, if you're looking for something, that something is looking for you. What are you looking for? What are you thinking about feelingly? Because feeling is the life of what you're thinking about. So, where are you? God said, if you turn to me, I'll turn to you. So he's already agreed to it. Well, where are you? Yeah, you have to remember it, and that's the big problem, isn't it?
It is.
Remembering, yeah. After all, what did God leave himself? A remembrancer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like that you just stated that, what you're looking for is looking for you. And just the mere fact that you're looking for it lets you know that that thing exists. Would you agree?
Well, if you can see it, God can surely see it.
Absolutely.
So your message is made right then and there. Now, if you'll stick to it, if you'll think from it, not of it, then it's yours. That's what you're told. These are what we're talking about is promises of God. Isn't that it?
Absolutely.
And we're trying to get them to see that these are God's promises. So this is not from Mr. DeCarlo or Lindell. This is from God. So, and what are you told? Fear not. From God, you're told, fear not. Is that not telling you that I'm on your side?
Absolutely.
Well, if you turn to me, I'll turn to you. Isn't that what it's about?
It is.
See, that's it. But you have to have that time alone when you're mulling over what you're hearing, because you're told it does come to you by the hearing of the ear first. Now, that's knowing about it. And for most of the world, that's enough to know about it. But it's those who will invest themselves in feeling after, because you're told, feel after him, and you'll find him. Him who? You. Who else is there? There's only God. Are we not told he's all things to all?
Yes.
So who else would you be talking about? And this is, people say, well, this sounds like preaching from Scripture and that, and I go, well, yeah. You get the truth anywhere the truth is just what you're looking for. And it's right with you. All you have to do is go within, because that's what are we told that without is? Secondhand. So within is where it all starts. Isn't that right?
It's true. So as we go within, assume a thing, and we shall have the power. Is that correct?
That's right. You were talking about assumption before, right? Well, yes. That's what you're to do. You're to assume that you have it, and that's it, because you're looking for, you're waiting for the delivery. That's all. But you've already got it because you got confirmation by asking, believing. That's confirmation. If you don't believe it, then you won't even attempt to do it. And that's why people don't do it, because for whatever reason, it doesn't really matter. If you don't do it, you're just denying yourself. And remember this, that Scripture tells you that all denial is self-denial. So, people are saying, well, I pray and pray and pray, and he doesn't answer my prayers. And I go, no. He's not missing it. You're missing it. He answers. All prayer is answered, we're told. And if you didn't get what you wanted, that's what you're saying. You didn't get what you wanted, but you do. You still want it, don't you? Oh, you get to really get some weird looks.
It goes back to what you say often. You don't get what you want. You get what you expect.
That's it. Well, and then is that now back to assumption?
Absolutely.
Look, it's a circle. It all keeps coming back to you at different times. And what is coming back to you is what you're like on to use at the moment. See, mind knows all departments of your mind. And each one of them has a part to add to what you're intending to do. So the question really is only up to you. What is it that you're intending to do? Does that not indicate the doing it?
It does. It's the first part. Mine.
That's it. Yeah. It's a cycle. And if you'll get yourself into the step of the cycle of thinking feelingly, in other words, you have your daily duties, let's say, and no one's telling you to shirk any of your responsibilities, but you want to keep your mind on track as to stand for what it is you have accepted. And that's what it is. As long as you're standing there on that idea that it is, makes it so. Thinking makes it so. What are you thinking about? You wanted simple religion, there it is. Wouldn't you say?
I would. And I think that going back to what you just stated a second ago, simplicity. So many of us complicate this process and we make it otherworldly, we make it magical, we make it out of our reach is my whole point. And it's as simple as me deciding to go downstairs and make a sandwich, or you deciding to go downstairs and have a cup of coffee after the talk. You made a decision. It wasn't even, well, I think I'm going to make a cup of coffee, or should I make a cup? No, I'm going downstairs once we're done with the talk, and I'm going to make a cup of coffee. And that's how resolute we have to be when we're manifesting. Would you agree?
That's it. You got it. That's it. You said it perfectly. That's really the whole ball of wax right there. So all you have to do is just light a flame under it. That's all. Get a little excited about it. That's all. If you'll stay a little excited about it, you'll wind up doing it. And that's what you're to do, is to do a thing, and you shall have the power. Now, right there, that statement, do a thing, and you shall have the power. See, God is your backup, is the power, but he's not making your decisions. He gave you choose this day, and you're doing so, aware or unaware. All we're trying to do is just to make sure that you're aware that you're in control, that you can take control. And you're doing so. Why not aim it better than the best you yet have experienced? In other words, dream the dream. Isn't that it?
It is it. And I like that you just stated about the power, the one power. And we've been given directorship of the power. And you said, why not aim it to the place of better than the best you know? But many people don't understand that they're the directors of God's power. Would you agree?
Absolutely. That's what you are. And that's what you were sent here to do. You were sent here to direct energy. That's it. And thinking is energy. And you're to direct it. In other words, it's an assumption that since you're told to choose it, that you'll choose what it is you desire, not what you don't desire. But I'll tell you, most of the world doesn't know the difference, and they usually choose the negative to concern themselves with, unaware that it is they themselves are so, as you say, makers of themselves. And as God has said, that they are makers of themselves. So, wake up. That's all you have to do. And you wake yourself up by waking up your mind to new ideas, new attitudes, new assumptions, new moods. And seeing that they're new, we're assuming that they're chosen. And that you're thinking on things lovely and a good report, that they are good, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody had reached out to me recently, and she was concerned because somebody that she knew had gotten a shot, for, the virus, whatever. And she said, so how should I revise it? And I said, you shouldn't revise it. I said, you should accept that they got the shot for the virus. I said, that was their decision. And, of course, your decision is to do otherwise or not get the shot. And I said, that's also okay. But we want to be responsible. You often say, mind your own business. Far too often, our upset is because we're in someone else's business. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Look, what people really don't understand is that they're on all the time. Wouldn't you say?
They are, and I agree.
They are on all the time. So if I am with you, God's saying he's with you, then he hears what you hear. He knows what you know. Because he gave you to choose path. You're the one steering. So you can't blame anybody else. You're the one steering. And as long as you're paying attention, everything goes great. But you see, you find yourself drifting off into thoughts that you would not actually choose to think, but they just seem to kind of like take the floor for you. But you don't have to own them just because you actually thought such a thing for a moment. Well, a few seconds anyway. Because, look, it'll get your attention. And what has your attention is your life. And you're giving your life, that's your life, to the idea that you're mentally jostling with, I guess you might say. But it tells you very plainly that as you think, you are. And thinking is actually feeling ideas. Are you choosing the ideas? Then you're happy. If you're not, then to get happy, start choosing, right?
Absolutely. You were speaking about jostling with a thought. We would also call that wrestling with angels, as it were, when we're wrestling with an ideal. And, a couple of nights ago I had just a dream of wrestling with, as it were, an angel, a thought, a concept. And what happened was then I became one with the thing that I was wrestling with. And this is what we're talking about all the time. If we give our attention to whatever it is, that thing becomes a part of who we are, and we begin to express what we impress. Would you agree?
That's it. That's exactly it. You said it perfectly. That's great, because it is exactly that. We are what we think we are. And so it's not really important about what others think of you. It's what you think of you. That's what's important. Because you are as you think you are. And thinking makes it so. Makes what so? Whatever you're thinking about. You see, we're always thinking ahead of our evidence. And that means that since you're thinking ahead of the evidence, that you actually have an opportunity to change it, and therefore change the evidence. In other words, it's desired dreaming. That's what you're doing. You're here to direct your dreaming. And it's all a dream. It's only a virtual reality. Scripture says a shadow world. It would be the same thing, wouldn't it?
It would be.
It is. That's the whole thing. It is. It is what you think it is to you. So just watch what you think. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks. Just worry about what you think about you, because that's what you're experiencing. That is the sum of all you're experiencing is what you think of you. There's a good reason to raise the level a little, don't you think?
I do. And it goes back to you spoke of the virtual reality, because David was a warrior. What he saw in his virtual reality was a shadow of death, and he said, "Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." Somebody else can see heaven on earth, but it goes back to what Mr. Lindell was just saying. What is it that you're giving your attention to? Are you living out heaven on earth or hell on earth? Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree. That says it very well. Yes, it's very, very simple. If you'll keep it simple, you'll remember it. As you think you are, you do, you have, you be. So you're in charge if you're in charge of your thinking. And that's what you were giving charge, to direct your thinking. Because you could be chained to a dungeon floor, but still you can direct your thinking. Isn't that so?
It is. And that dungeon floor could actually be an oasis for the person that's controlling his or her thinking. Would you agree?
Right, that's right. You see, it is his own challenge to himself. See, that's where the challenge has to come from, yourself. You have to feel after him, and you'll find him. But when you stop feeling after, then that's it. Then you're stuck. As long as you're in that state of mind, you're stuck in that state of mind. If you'll change that state of mind, you'll change your world of experiencing. And that's what you're to do. Dream the dream, you're told. If you're told to dream the dream, why not do so and see so for yourself? Wouldn't you say?
I would. So what I'm discovering, and it's been noted by scriptures and other books of wisdom, that one of the hardest things in the world is to direct one's own thinking. Would you agree?
Yeah. You see, it takes what? Patience. You have to be patient with yourself. If you're not patient with yourself, then you're useless. You actually are a loser then if you're not patient with yourself, because you'll destroy yourself. Your impatience will destroy you. Little by little, okay, but it'll get to you. But you're given, choose this day. And as I like to always make sure it's understood that it is always this day. Never a yesterday, it's never a tomorrow, it's always this day. And you have a choice. Choose this day. Whatever happened yesterday, happened, okay? I'm not trying to deny anything. The idea is that you're given a choice every day to choose the day. If the day isn't chosen, it'll be chosen for you. See, that's the way it works. And you don't have to take my word for it. If you really sit and think about it a few minutes, you'll see that's the way it works. You're always in control, even if you're out of control. All we're trying to do is to help you get back to controlling what it is you think feelingly about, because subconscious mind will create your world to the last detail of as you think you are. That's its only job. It's not to question you. It's not to, make suggestions of anything. It's only to create your world as you think you are. You do, you have, you be. What somebody else doing, what the world around you is doing is not your business. But if you make it your business, you see, you tend to become the world. You're told to be in the world, but not to be of the world. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy it to the nth degree. But just make sure you're the one doing the thinking properly. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That kind of spells it out, doesn't it?
It does, and it goes back to, as you stated, about choose this day. What we don't understand is that, as you often say, our thoughts don't fall into the past, but they advance into the future, and what they will also bring is compound interest. So you don't just get the single thought that you've planted. The thought comes in your future multiplied, good, bad, or indifferent. Would you agree?
Trade-offs.
That's the trade-off.
Yeah, it's those trade-offs that nobody knows about or always kind of surprises them. It really, if they would just understand the simple idea that as you think you are, if you're down and out, it's what you think you are. If you're up and out of it, it's what you think you are. That's simple, wouldn't you say?
I would, and it goes back to, they often say, your life is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and how many people have come to me and said, DeCarlo, this stuff doesn't work, and I knew it wouldn't work, and it not working and you knowing it wouldn't work is your self-fulfilled prophecy of it working. Would you agree?
Right, that's right. You're uncharged even if you're out of control. Wouldn't you say?
I would, and I hear so many people saying, I'm not going to use the law anymore. I'm not going to use these principles. You cannot not use the law if you're living and breathing. As Lindell says, you're always on, period. Would you agree?
That's right. That's right. And the thing of it is, the great surprise to people is that really when they see a little light, in other words, they come to a better understanding of generalized thinking and what they can do with it and what they can change with it, if they'll be the ones who will consciously direct their own thinking. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, that's his feeling nature. As a man, and Neville would tell us that all the time. As you think you are. I mean, how simple could it be put? Really? Think about it.
Or think from it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. The whole idea is that God is with you, but he's not directing you. You're directing you. But you're doing so with his power. Because he gave you choose. The very act of choosing is directing power. And it would be an assumption that you'll choose better than the best that you yet know.